Hey guys, Technotenori here. This is definitely a very scuffed video. I'm at work right now. I'm recording on my phone, and just got off for lunch break. So I kind of want to just take my time to, express my thoughts on the Switch 2 Direct, and talk about it in detail in a video, in relatively within the time frame of the actual Direct itself. So I'm not like uploading this a few days later, but yeah, the Direct happened today. I was actually watching it during my shift. It was actually, it wasn't that, it was pretty slow today so far. So I was able to actually, watch it and not be too distracted. But, God, that was like a whirlwind of stuff. Like, that was, okay, so I do want to go into like the pricing of the console and like, pricing of games and everything. But despite some of the concerns I have with that, like, they're cooking. Like, they're cooking hard. And, like, the stuff they showed was amazing. First party, third party support is on point, especially with that new FromSoft IP. Like, that absolutely blew my mind. I was, like, I almost, like, made a scene during my job when I was, like, looking at it. Because my face was just like, what is going... Like, I'm like, what... Because, like, that was like the biggest surprise for me. But I guess we'll start with the system itself. Like, it looks like a solid system. It looks powerful. The chat option actually looks really good. And that the unfortunate thing is that I know I'm going to have so many friends that aren't going to get the system right away. So I'm probably not going to end up being able to use that feature until, like, way later. Because I'm the only one in my friend group that kind of buys Nintendo consoles at launch. So that's something that is cool, but I don't think I'm going to be enjoying right away. The screen on it is great. I do like the fact that, we pretty much got everything we wanted besides OLED. Like, we got HDR, variable refresh rate, 120 hertz, 1080p. Like, that's pretty much the bare minimum that everyone was asking for, at least. And we definitely got what we wanted. So I consider that a win, no matter what way you slice it. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to the Joy-Cons. Hopefully they don't drift. The Pro Controller, I was kind of hoping for more on the Pro Controller. It was kind of underwhelming. I was just like, it's literally back paddles and they slapped a 2 on it. And I was kind of hoping... I was also hoping they'd have more colors. I don't know why. I was like looking forward to them potentially like having like a white version of the Switch too, or like different colors of the Pro Controller, but I guess we're just gonna have to wait on that. Yeah, the camera looks really cool. Like, I'm gonna be buying so many. Like, thinking about it with the price, like $449, like being like the base price, I'm probably going to get the Mario Kart edition that comes with Mario Kart, because Mario Kart World is $80, which I think is a little bit ridiculous. Like, I know it's Mario Kart. It's like that game that like sells gangbusters. It's like Nintendo's GTA or Skyrim. Like, it sells like crazy. But $80 just seems excessive, especially when Nintendo is just starting to embrace $70 games. Like, it feels so... It's definitely very concerning, because I get worried that things like GTA are going to be ridiculously expensive, or like Elder Scrolls 6 whenever that comes out. So that's definitely a concerning thing for me when it comes to pricing, is more so the games than the system itself, because given the tariffs and everything going on in the economy right now, I think $450 was like the best case scenario that was realistic. Like, $400 was wishful thinking, and then anything under that was like, yeah, get out of here with that. Like, in this economy, a $300 Switch 2, no, that's not happening. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not happening. And I guess like the big thing for me is the fact that despite some of the pricing discrepancies and like gaming being not only more expensive but also less exciting, like, Nintendo brought it. Like, they're cooking really hard, like I said, and like they really brought their A game with this one. I give the Direct like an A+. Like, it was really, really good with all the game announcements. Mario Kart World looks great. Like, it seems like it's introducing a lot of new stuff. Hopefully we get a lot of retro tracks, though. Like, I know the whole open aspect of it, where it's just like a whole map with all the courses on it, is like the new, like the new feature, like the new gimmick. But I hope they introduce retro courses over time, so like we can have a bit more of a traditional, like, you know, Grand Prix type of thing. But otherwise, that new Donkey Kong game looks sick. Like, I remember watching the Nate the Hate podcast, and they were saying that there's not going to be a 3D Mario, but I'm like, there's got to be a 3D platform or something. And like, I figured it might have been Donkey Kong. And like, I'm glad I kind of got that prediction correct in my list of predictions, that, like, you know, there may not be like a 3D Mario game, but there's definitely going to be like some type of 3D platformer that's going to be like incredible. And like, it looks a lot like Mario Odyssey, but like, also you got to keep in mind, like, there's like, you see Donkey Kong like digging through the dirt, punching things, destroying things. Like, the whole like map is like destructible, which I find to be very like indicative of the Switch 2's power in a sense, even though it's a not realistic game. Like, it's a cartoonish art style, like that they have like these full destructible environments that you can dig through like almost every square inch of the dirt in that game and like destroy a ton of different objects. So that's definitely a highlight for me. That one's going to be, I think I'm going to sink a lot more time than I think into that one. The Switch 2 versions of Switch 1 games, that's really cool. I'm concerned what the upgrade price is going to be. I just hope at most it's 10. Like, I was kind of hoping it'd just be like, you know, like just regular performance enhancements and like graphics enhancements, and it'd be like $5. But like, knowing the like various other improvements they're adding, like, it's definitely going to be $10 at the absolute lowest. And I hope it's just 10, because I have a lot of Switch 1 games, and if they're going to make more and more Switch 1 games upgradable for the Switch 2 versions, I just hope it's as low as possible, especially, you know, given the price of everything right now. And that's been a big contention point online, is the pricing of the system, the pricing of the games, and like, some people are just outright not going to buy it. And like, I think, at least, you know, in terms of the hardware, I feel like there was very unrealistic expectations. Like, they were going to be like, oh, this system's going to be $300, and it's just like, that wasn't going to happen. Like, at the absolute lowest, we were expecting $399, but I still think, you know, $449 and like $500 for the Mario Kart bundle is honestly fine. Like, obviously, for those who are lower income, like, that's going to hurt if they want to buy a Switch 2, and they might have to wait a bit longer, which sucks. It definitely sucks. But I don't think it's nearly like as bad as a certain other system that is overpriced right now. Cough, cough, PlayStation 5 Pro. Oh, moving on. Third parties, on point. I'm very excited for the Elden Ring port. Just please, for the love of God, give me some Zelda-themed weapons to collect in that version, because that'll make my like 100th playthrough of Elden Ring more worth it, to like have some like Zelda-themed weapons to play with. Also, a mini Ronnie amiibo would actually be really cool too. But, you know, like, just giving you some cheat sheets. FromSoft. Speaking of FromSoft, the Duskbloods, I think was called. That looks incredible. I was looking at the game at first, and I'm like, is this like a new Castlevania game? Like, it looks like something that would be like, you know, it's like, it's very gothic, but it looks very From Software-y. And then the From Software logo came up, and I'm like, but what is this though? Because like, it's clearly not an Elden Ring. It's not a Dark Souls 4 or anything like that. Like, it's got to be like, I don't know, maybe somehow Nintendo wrangled the rights to Bloodborne from Sony for some reason. But no, it's a new IP, the Duskbloods, and apparently it's multiplayer, which is very interesting, especially with things like Night Rain coming out. Like, it seems like From Software is trying to lean more into multiplayer games, even in like the Souls-like formula, which, you know, the seamless co-op mod is very popular for Elden Ring, so I can see why they would want to experiment more with multiplayer options. I just hope there's enough single player content where like it's not all multiplayer and I could still, you know, run around and like fight bosses and experiment with all the weapons, try different builds, stuff like that. It seems like it's going to be that type of game. But yeah, even with like the guns and stuff, I'm like, yeah, that's Bloodborne. Like what, like how did they get the rights to Bloodborne? And then I almost thought like maybe, like especially with the emphasis on blood and like it looked like they were vampires, I'm like, is this like a weird collab between From Software and Konami for a Castlevania game? Like that would be dope. I would actually be like, oh my god, that's actually something that I've been like fantasizing in my head about. Like what if they made like a Soulsborne Metroidvania and made like a new Castlevania game, and like that would be incredible. But still, Dustbloods is still very incredible, and it's a Switch 2 exclusive, which is also like very surprising. So seems like Nintendo saw the success of Elden Ring and was like, hey, FromSoft, you want to work on something together? Like, do you want to, you know, make something for us? And they're like, hold my beer. But otherwise, the other announcements, like that like wheelchair basketball game looked really good. I don't know. I hope it's not too expensive because it looks very bare bones. Like if it's $70, I'm gonna skip out on it. That Switch 2 tour game that like tours you around the system it's kind of like, it sucks that it's not even just a pack-in from day one. Like I think that's terrible. Like that's a terrible idea. Like this should have just been included with the system, period, for free. And you know, but they're apparently charging money for it. Hopefully it's like only $5 if anyone's even remotely interested in that type of thing. The Switch 2 editions I'm excited for too. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom I'm definitely going to play through again. Definitely getting the Switch 2 version of Prime 4. The performance mode, like the 120 FPS mode is like awesome. Like it's surprising like how like upfront they were about specs and resolutions and frame rates this time around, because Nintendo never does that. So like I wasn't expecting them to be like, oh, it was like, you know, like it has like 666.66 teraflops or some shit, and like blank CPU cores or insert amount of RAM here. Like they weren't going to talk about that, but like the fact that they're just like, yeah, this thing does 1080p 120 max in handheld mode. You can do 4K in docked mode for select games, and I'm like, great. Like, thank you for making that abundantly clear. So that's something completely different that they did, and that's very surprising. I guess overall that's my thoughts on it. I'm surprised that, you know, some dissenting opinions have been like about the system price and like some other things. Like I've actually seen a surprising amount of people be like, oh, like this makes it like awful that the fact that it's $450. And I'm like, do you go outside? Do you like read a newspaper or like, you know, watch any form of news about like what's going on in the world right now, where our economy is going crazy? That like, you know, at least with the, like, obviously I don't want corporations to like price gouge the shit out of us with overly expensive products, but you know, like we were not going to get like a $350 or $300 Switch 2. It just wasn't going to happen. And I think, you know, people tempering their expectations for like $400 and up were, I think, pretty reasonable. But otherwise, in terms of like regardless of the pricing, regardless of, it seems like the nickel and diming with the upgrades and everything, like they cooked, and we're gonna eat. Like we're gonna eat real good come June 5th, and I'm very excited for that. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment on the video, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. This is Techno Tenore, and hopefully I am back in my setup in the coming days. And now I am signing out. Thank you.